And a warm welcome to this live stream, which is the last live stream of 2024, Year of the Dragon. And we are entering or preparing to cross the threshold in the year 2025. And I know Europe is ahead of us. And here in the United States, we are going to welcome the new year this evening. So I wanted to share this broadcast, the very last one for this year. And I am excited to see what will come through. It is a yearly tradition of mine to share the highlights of, and I need to let my animal out. Hey, you are so persistent. Okay, go. Okay, hopefully now we can stop. We can start. We can start. When I share this video on other platforms, I'm going to trim the beginning. So I just wanted to say warm welcome. If you are going to watch this live with me or if you're going to catch the replay, it's a warm welcome to this beautiful moment of now. My name is Katerina Satori. I am a speaker, author, teacher, and spiritual entrepreneur. I love utilizing technology, consciousness, and service to a higher cause. I love fusing all of that together. And this is one of the reasons why I love hosting live streams, because I never lose a sense of wonder about this magnificent technology that gives us an opportunity to connect all over the world and to share our vibration, share our essence, share our energy with each other, share our wisdom, share empowerment, share perspectives that can lift us up to new heights, right? So I'm a big lover of using technology to serve higher cause and to do it with consciousness. So all glory to the technology of live streams. And wow, what a year. 2024, I drank a lot, a lot. You know what I was drinking all year long in year 2024? Two types of drinks. First, kava, and I will explain why this is relevant for you for year 2025, right? So kava is a root that comes to us from Hawaii or also from from Fiji. And it's a really beautiful plant. It's known as plant of peace. And when we have a lot of transformation on the planet, a lot of change, a lot of acceleration, it can feel really exciting, right? It's very dynamic energy, but it can also be tiring and overwhelming. And it can spin our minds into these restless planes. So I have found a great support in making kava nectars. And kava is like this elixir for your nervous system, right? It's a great support. You drink it, you mix it with coconut water, and it instantly begins to relax and ground you, right? Really make you very chill. The second drink is cacao. Cacao is here to help us nourish our heart. When our heart is nourished, we have compassion. We can move forward with extra love in our heart, right? And when we move forward with love in our heart, incredible doors of synchronicities open to us because everything responds better to love. So I'm a big believer of drinking an amazing cacao. I'm going to post the link underneath this comments. And yes, Rob knows. Mead is another beautiful beverage that I enjoy, which is a honey nectar, and it's the goddess nectar wine. All right. So, why is this important for the last broadcast of 2024? Dear ones, because this year was very dynamic. This year, the highs were very high and the lows were very low. And we were learning to unlock new kind of strength. This was the year of strength, according to the system of Tarot, right? The archetype of strength. And we unlock new kind of strength when we go through meeting the unknown, when we are being asked to reinvent or to step into a new territory with our creativity. It takes strength to bring a new version of yourself into the world. It takes incredible strength to begin again when you experience a setback, or you feel like you were moving ahead and suddenly you are 10 steps behind. It takes incredible strength to find a little flame of confidence after you've experienced something that shook your confidence, right? And this year was so powerful because it showed many of us that we have incredible capacity for rebirth and reinvention, and our ability to believe in ourselves, and our ability to say, you know what, maybe everything that comes into my life is here for me, for my growth and for expansion. And that takes strength to open your eyes and to see your life events through this new kind of lens, right? And also the year of the dragon, right? So many of us were being invited by life to take up more space, right? To really open up our range and to come outside of that comfort zone and to say, well, what would feel like a creative risk for me? What would feel like a stretch? And I'm going to lean into those new ways of expressing myself and being visible in the world. And 2024 was also a year of mastery and karma. There were so many karmic things a lot of us had to face. And karma is simply a consequence of the actions that we took in the past. Every single action that we take has a reaction or a consequence. So karma is meeting, these feedbacks from the past, and not knowing that we have a new awareness and new consciousness that we can respond to that feedback from the past in a new way. And when we respond in a new way, we create new reality, right? So this is kind of like the overview of 2024. It was a year of miracles. It was a year of setbacks that were truly hidden blessings. It was a year of surrender and humility and continued decision to find courage within. So, yay to 2024, a big warm gratitude to the year of the dragon. Now, are you ready to cross the threshold and to leap into new energies, even though there's many different new years? So tonight we welcome a sort of like a traditional new year, right? Collective new year. Then in February, we're going to have a Chinese New Year, which I personally experience a very significant energetic shift when the Chinese New Year comes into play. So we're shifting from the energy of the dragon into the energy of the snake. Very different energies, both very powerful energies. And then we have a spiritual nature New Year, which is spring equinox, right? So, and then we have galactic New Year, which is in July. So there is many different opportunities for new beginnings. We're just starting with the collective New Year tonight. And I know Europeans, my European community, you've already been in celebration of 2025. So I am here to share with you what will astrologically be this year like 2025. How can we see the profound opportunities of this year. How can we prepare ourselves spiritually, mentally, psychologically, right? What will be really crucial for us to move through this next year with trust and confidence and grace, because we will need all of that. So, year 2024, we have a lot of astrological movement. So much so that all major astrologers right now are publishing incredible content, and I encourage you to listen to astrology. This is a very powerful spiritual way to navigate the energies, the energies of the stars. So in 2025, we have 8 major planets shifting signs, all in the span of 8 months. And all like really important planets like Saturn and Uranus and Neptune and Jupiter, all major players are shifting signs. Since we're connected, everything in the universe is connected. We're affected by the stars. We're going to be receiving these shifts within us, right? Not only that, we also have this major nodal shifts change, which happens every 2 years. And this is almost like where the collective energy will be moving towards. And it's shifting to the energies of Pisces and Virgo. It's very important to know this. I wish we were taught this in middle school, right? It's a great time to study astrology when you are in middle school, because when you understand the stars, you understand yourself, right? Instead of us wasting our time on some subjects that we could never apply. What a waste, right? Okay, come back, Katerina. So I can go on a tangent about the educational system, but I'm here to just say astrology is an incredible way to understand yourself, to understand the grand navigation system of the universe. So let's unpack together Pisces and Virgo. So think about Pisces. Pisces is a very mystical, heart-centered sign. Pisces is all about mysticism. Pisces is all about higher ideals. It's very emotional, sensitive sign. So collectively, we're moving towards Pisces and Virgo nodal points. So if you thought that the collective was going through awakening, there is this desire for everything spirituality centered. People are hungry for mystical truths. Now it's going to be amplified so much more, right? So many people will be looking for that direct connection to spirit. And why? Well, because it's very this is where our true strength comes from, right? If every year I have find myself and together with everybody who's around us have the same conversation, how fast the energy is moving. In 2025, we'll be saying this probably by the end of January. We'll say, where did the January go? Where did the March go? So everything will accelerate even faster. And amount of information that will be coming towards you from every angle will amplify as well. The amount of conflicting information, the amount of just simply a lot of information coming at you. So what is really important for 2025 is to learn the discernment. Who do you listen to? What information do you let in? And how do you discern? How do you sort through all that data? How do you recognize through the process of resonance what is important to attune to? What feels nourishing? What feels uplifting? Right? What are the teachings that you will be listening to that truly empower you as an individual to connect to that inner truth and that inner intuition, versus what are the teachings that are constantly trying to tell you to, rely on them or rely on particular a set of rules, a dogma, or this kind of a religious fundamentalism, right? So it's really all about us going to this deep, intimate, mystical connection to our divine self, and making that connection as a primarily a relationship, that we can hear divine directives, that we can hear divine assignments, right? And for that to happen, our intuition is the key super skill. Our intuition is the voice of our soul. So it's going to be such an incredible self-mastery 3.0, our ability to hear our intuition and our ability to trust it and not to doubt it. Our ability to act on our intuition swiftly. Our ability to trust our intuition to make decisions with confidence. Time will go really fast. Opportunities will be opening, opportunities will be closing. And the more centered we are in our connection with our divine self, the more clearly we can recognize which opportunities are right for us and which doors are simply a distraction. But once you hone that intuitive skill, right, by trusting yourself, every time you trust your intuition, you get a proof that, oh my goodness, I can't trust myself, I can't trust my decisions. And that gives you this intuitive muscle, because logic and analytical mind will not be enough to navigate this very mystical year of the snake, the year of radical self-transformation. We'll be asked to open our psychic senses even more than we may be comfortable opening, right? And learning to perceive on inner planes, learning to receive information from the unified field. Very soon, this will become a very common skill. Telepathic abilities are opening up. We realize more and more that we can send each other thought forms, that we can communicate with each other through this network of energy. Many people will become interested in paranormal activities and parapsychology, right? In communication with invisible beings, with spirit world. And what it means for us, my peers, my peers, spiritual mystical leaders and teachers, we are going to have a very busy year. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because you and I will be asked to step it up. No more holding yourself back and hiding your most unique spiritual gifts for the fear that it's just too much for people, it's too far out for people. The collective is ready for your most unique gifts. But the collective will not be able to find you if you keep still censoring yourself and keep hiding a major part of you and only present a part of yourself that you think will be digestible for others. It's time for those of us who are in the public leadership to unfold our unique, individual, mystical sparks. And to do it because of that deep calling of sacred service. Right? So year 2025, year of massive transformation. So many people will be doing soul searching everywhere because it's a year 9. Year 9, you look back at your previous 8 years. You look back at all of your experiences, and you will have this desire to begin to sort through your experiences. You begin to feel a desire to purge a lot of things, to prune things that don't really resonate with you anymore. If you have a business for yourself, if you are an entrepreneur, you may have this deep desire to prune your business or to prune your professional life and to say, you know what? There is a lot of dead weight. There is a lot of dead branches that don't bring me joy, that I just keep it just because I think I should. What would happen if I actually created space for innovation, if I trusted my genius, if I dared to go into a new territory. So year 9 is a year of completion, a year of letting go to liberate the space. And letting go is not always comfortable because there is a part of us, our precious, fragile human ego. Yeah, I'm not talking bad about ego. I'm just having a lot of compassion for this very human part of us that is not comfortable in letting go. And it's even more uncomfortable in being in the gap. Because once you let go, it's very rare that a new immediately rushes in. Sometimes it does. But what typically happens, you let go and you get to experience a sort of a gap, transitional space between where you were and where you wish to be. There is this gap, and it's a murky place. It's a place of discomfort for a lot of people. And right here, what is so important is to make sure that you have kava in your life. Because you drink a glass of kava and you're cool. You're like, I am in the gap, but as long as I have kava and cacao, I am great. It gives you a perspective, right? So just now think about collectively. Collectively next year, a lot of people in humanity will be going in these spaces of transition where the soul searching of the last 8 years have brought them to a threshold. People will be leaving careers that don't feel aligned. They will be closing out particular professional chapters, leaving marriages, leaving countries that they don't, right? There's a lot of shedding of the old identity, but it's kind of naive to think that you just leap straight into the new. The new needs time to be born. So a lot of people will be in this limbo, in a transition time. They will be looking for guidance, consciously or unconsciously, looking for support, for some wisdom of how to navigate that in between stage, how to navigate the death and rebirth, how to trust, how to maybe for the very first time to trust, surrender. And this is why I foresee all the people who are in the spiritual work will be very busy if you know how to address these needs of the collective, right? So in whatever way you do that, in whatever way you feel called to serve in this way. So when we are in transformation, we need a lot of support when we're in a transformation, right? And what kind of support would be useful for us? Well, the support of wisdom. Number one, of course, support of love, loving yourself through transformation, holding yourself, really accepting and cherishing every chapter of your life. Then the second powerful support is support of wisdom. This is where whatever spiritual wisdom teachings that you resonate with, they are spiritual food, right? They're spiritual food. And when you give your mind the highest spiritual nutrition, when you read teachings of great masters who came before us, whether they are alive now or whether they're not alive anymore, but really flooding your mind with teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, right? Gene Keys, if you're into Richard Rudd's work, which is a contemporary self-illumination wisdom teachings. We have so many, right? So many teachings that you can dive in. I constantly share my book selections, deep spiritual books. But what you're doing, you're beginning to practice wisdom yoga, right? There's many branches of yoga. The wisdom yoga is one of my favorite because in the morning when you wake up and you have that time with yourself to nourish your mind, don't give that precious time to the affairs of the world. It's, the 3D world that is not, it's not worth it. Give your mind the most precious spiritual food right away and flood your mind with these brilliant, luminous perspectives and teachings so it can lift you up to a new vibration. And may the year 2025 will be the year that you read the most amount of books that will expand your mind. And remember that your mind, when it's stretched by a new idea, it never goes back to its old dimension. The mind has incredible capacity to stretch to new heights, but we need to do the stretching, right? And the same thing is watching enlightening documentaries. A documentary is like a book in motion. So when you watch an inspiring documentary, you give yourself new perspectives, new ideas. It expands you, right? It gives you a new sense of enthusiasm for the future. It also gives you ideas of how you can contribute to the transformation on the planet. Now we have also the nodal shifts, Pisces and Virgo. And what is Virgo? Let's talk about Virgo. I love the energy of Virgo because Virgo is service. Virgo is sacred service. And all of us are being called to find that service and to give all our heart to it. Every single one of us is making or has a possibility to make a significant contribution to the collective field by maintaining our energy, becoming really committed to raising our frequency, right? To managing our energy, managing our state, becoming this calm, clear, compassionate presence in the world. That's our number one contribution, right? Our coherence, our alignment with the collective field. The second part of this energy of Virgo is we're being invited to turn our spirituality into more action-oriented expression. The times of passive spirituality is over. It's been over. But 2025 will really bring it to us, right? This passive spiritual kind of a journey is the thing of the past. The new archetype is rising in all of us, and it's the archetype of a spiritual warrior, right? Where we're not fighting each other with our belief systems, that's the shadow expression of that, but we're all uniting for a one higher ideal. And our weapon is inspiration and courage. Our sword is courage and inspiration and our leadership. And the sign of a spiritual warrior is this incredible discipline. Have you ever seen undisciplined warrior? They don't exist. So self-discipline of really finding like what are the qualities that give you that sense of inner calm and presence. All this year, I've been an ambassador of breathwork. Everybody who's around me is deeply aware of how much I love breathwork. I do not lead a single course or program without having a speech about power of breathwork, right? Why, beloveds? Because with so much information coming at us in the next year, in the year after, in the year after, it can feel destabilizing and disorienting. And the way to calm your mind and bring it straight into your inner center is through breath. Breath is the ruler of the mind. When we learn to breathe correctly, we learn to live correctly. If we don't have power over our breath, we don't have power over our life. And that's simply a fact. So when we begin to get this passion, I'm going to become really committed to oxygenating my body. I'm becoming really committed to noticing when my mind begins to spin Or when my mind is flat and uninspired, I need to find a way to get it into motion, to get it into that spiritual warrior energy, right? To go forward with my dream, with my ideal, with my vision, knowing that it's really all about me and the universe. That's a very powerful team to be together, you and the universe. Wow. And so these discipline, a discipline is one of my favorite words. And I know some people don't care about the discipline. They would rather just be in eternal flow, right? But you know how easy it is to get out of shape. It doesn't take much. Just miss a few workouts and you lose strength. It's the same thing with spiritual disciplines. You miss your practices 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and you become spiritually weaker and weaker and weaker. When you become spiritually weaker, you are more influenced by the collective fear and by collective stories. So a part of becoming a spiritual warrior is to become spiritually strong. And why do we need that strength? For transformation, right? We need that strength for transformation and for service and for leadership. We can find joy in discipline. The root of the word discipline is to be a disciple. So, what are we choosing to be? Humble disciples, right? There is no leadership without being a disciple first. There is no, I have never met a teacher who truly inspired me who didn't have a very strong discipline in their life, right? So the discipline creates roots in our life. At the same time, my dear ones, another side of it is this learning to develop incredible self-compassion, because there are going to be days where you will not feel your best self, where you not will feel connected to your vision. You won't have energy, you won't have enthusiasm, right? And on those days, you simply get to accept that are a part of the human experience. You got to write them out. And it just simply means that your body is restoring, your battery is low, right? But on those days, you can still cultivate the inner flame. It's just not going to be burning like a torch, right? Like a huge torch. It's going to be like a tiny flame that you just tenderly cultivate. But finding that rhythm and the pulse. Today I feel strong. I'm going to ride that wave of strength. I'm going to initiate some creative things. I'm going to be this very dynamic expression of myself. And next day I feel tender. I feel unsupported. I feel isolated. This is my day, or this is my moment to really be with my tender human self, and maybe journal it out. Maybe talk it out with a friend. Maybe record a song. Maybe I will tone it out. On the low energy days, on the days of energetic slump, I love to chant and to tone, right? So just simply whatever wants to come out, just tone it out. And this is how you move the energy instead of letting it sit and brew, right? You tone it out. So next year, in the collective, my dear ones, we have an incredible technological advancement that is all going to be happening next year. Those of you who have embraced and you're celebrating technology such as AI is here. It's going to stay. It's only going to continue to expand. We can acknowledge the technology and all the gifts of the technology, but truly the self-mastery is all about finding the balanced relationship with it. Right? Knowing that if we're constantly glued to our screens, we are damaging our dopamine receptors, right? That activates the parts of our brain that it can increase an anxiety, that can increase restlessness. So finding a way to say, what is my way with technology? Maybe it's on the weekend. Maybe it's my Sunday is my technology free day. I actually had a client who um, demonstrated incredible leadership for her entire family. And every Sunday in their family, everybody gives her their phones, including kids, and the phones get locked away in the safe for entire day. And that's one of the methods they are choosing to cultivate, the innocence of presence with each other, and the rest, giving your brain rest from technology. I think it's incredible practice, and it takes a lot of self mastery, right? A lot of trust that yeah, a day without your phone you can go. So, whatever that means for you, I feel it's important to find a balance with the technology. Um, because, as I shared in the beginning of this live stream, everything will feel like it's going even faster, right? So, if you feel like, oh my goodness, it's end of December, if you feel like you may not be even prepared for January, you're just catching your breath after this year of the dragon, right? Just gather as much rest as possible. Don't rush yourself into action if you don't feel you are ready for it just yet. Give yourself this hibernation time. It's kind of cool that New Year's is happening midweek this year, right? Because we don't really need to rush in with the big audacious goals until next week. So I encourage, if you feel a little fatigue after year 2024, a little burnout, give yourself time to gently enter 2025. Like, there is no need to gallop on a horse in 2025. You can maybe be like a turtle, right? And this is a new pace, and it's totally okay to enter it gently, because 2025 will be a deeply transformative year. So, it's also the year, think about the year of the snake. I love the archetype of the snake so much, it's tattooed on my body. Cobra goddess, one of my sacred allies. It is divine wisdom. Snake stands for divine wisdom. It's the wisdom that leads you to a realization of your immortality. It's also all about really understanding the cycles of life. And the cycle of death and rebirth is a profound cycle that will accelerate in 2025, so we can understand that curriculum, so we can recognize the signs. I am approaching a new process of death, right? So there is a death that brings regeneration, and that brings a deep alchemy. And after regeneration, you come out with a new energy, with a new sense of self, with a new expression, with a new way you see the world, others, and yourself. And that's, we call it rebirth, right? And as if you have a female body this lifetime, my fellow women, we have this process every month during our moon cycle. We have it over 3 days. We have the shamanic portal that we have 3 days in our month, where we have an opportunity to shed the old skin, go into this deep stillness and regeneration, to give birth to a new version of who we are. Now, this happens collectively next year many, many, many times. And to be at peace with these deep transformative cycles of death is to truly begin to live a spiritually mature life, where we begin to welcome the messages that only the process of death can bring to us. We can bow down to it in humility. And the next level of mastery is to celebrate birth and death as the same thing, right? So, year of the snake, but also year 2025 is the numerologically year 9, which corresponds to a tarot card hermit. And what is hermit? Yes, many people will say, well, it's somebody who lives alone somewhere on the top of the mountain in the cave. That's that's a hermit one-on-one. An archetype of a hermit is a person who have activated a certain level of spiritual maturity, who has been putting the time in inner work and understanding of how reality works. A hermit as an archetype is the person who studied universal spiritual laws, and not only studied that, put them through their life. Say, how does the reality really works in a bigger way? What are the reality shaping principles? What does it mean that everything is consciousness? What does it mean that as above, so below, as within, so without? What does it mean that the law of rhythm always compensate, right? The hermit seeks answers to these questions with deep passion. A hermit is a student of life that eventually becomes a teacher, right? A hermit has this, you see on the tarot card, is always shown with a lamp illuminating a path forward. And a hermit doesn't have a huge beam of light that illuminates the full path forward. It just has the lamp, meaning a hermit is the person who lives in the present moment, who trusts the universe so much that living in the presence is the way the hermit moves into the world. But a hermit never stagnant, right? It's not sitting in the cave and constantly being lost on Netflix. It's not detaching from the world because it doesn't want to be a part of it. A hermit is deeply engaged in their spiritual practice, but also has a deep calling to share their wisdom and their discoveries with the world, with those who seek them out. Right? That's how I would describe the archetype of a hermit. It's a person who is deeply introspective, who seeks wisdom, who shares wisdom. So I feel collectively there's going to be a whole new level of hunger for spirituality, for spiritual wisdom. Now, the shadow of 2025, because we must address the shadow, right? It would be unfair and incomplete if I only talk about the epicness of 2025. What are the shadows, my dear ones? Well, I feel I've named a few. With the increase of speed of how everything moves so much fast, it can feel completely overwhelming for a lot of people. It can feel like people are constantly running out of time, not being able to catch up. It's just life feels more and more overwhelming, right? The rise of mental health issues, the rise of anxiety on a collective level, the rise of confusion. Who do I believe? Who do I listen to? The rise of maybe people who abuse spirituality, right? Who create the false front, the rise of spiritual narcissism, and all of that. Which leads me to the first point that I've been sharing. It's all about our intuition, right? To develop such strong intuition that nobody can fool you. You can smell the bullshit from a mile, right? You are spiritually discerning. You cultivate innocence like a dove, but a wisdom of the snake. You're a spiritual warrior with a backbone. Nobody can walk over you. Nobody can fool you, right? You got to have the eyes wide open. This is what's needed to navigate this next year and the next year and the next year. We become mature, right? And to become mature is to embrace all your experiences, the hard ones, the mistakes that you may still feel really hard on yourself for, maybe some experiences that are difficult to let go into the past. I invite you to consider that all those experiences helped you mature, that helped you become less naive and less susceptible to predators, right? Because the predators are around where they smell somebody's naivete. We get to become spiritually mature. And that means spending more time with our intuition, refining that channel, listening to the truth of our soul. It's you're picking up bad vibes about somebody. Trust that. Don't ignore the red flags. Only follow the green flags, right? So, and then 2025, my dear ones, is also year of the harvest. So if you have been on the spiritual path for last 8 years, you're gonna harvest some fruits, right? You're gonna look back and you say, wow, 9 years ago, I was like baby. I had some dreams. I had some visions. I had some intuitive nudges of where I am going, but wow, look at where I am standing now. So this year, this next year is also a great year to really celebrate your journey, to look back and to, take a day or take a few days to write down every significant experience that transformed you, that matured you, that opened your eyes to the wonder of the universe. I did this process and I was moved to tears. You know why it's so important to do? We adults are not really great at acknowledging ourselves. We're way better at beating ourselves up, of telling ourselves, I'm not where I need to be by now. But you know what? It doesn't make us stronger, it only makes us weaker. A much better way is to take a day or a few days and write down every significant transformative experience that expanded you, that helped you grow, that helped you learn about the universe and about yourself, that helped you unlock your new strength. Write down the moments where you were on your knees and the hand of divine grace came and lifted you up. Write down about the moments where you were at the edge of your hope and divine came in and lifted you up and you forever were transformed because you saw how divine works in your life. Treasure those moments. Record them, relive them because they give you strength. It's so easy to forget those moments. It's so easy to rush to the next dopamine hit. But it doesn't give you strength. What gives you strength is celebration of your journey as a human who chose to incarnate in the time of most transformative time. You chose to incarnate knowing that you're going to be a light worker, knowing that you're going to be a shadow walker, knowing that you're going to attend to your shadow and to your light, knowing that you're going to die many times and to rebirth yourself many times. You knew all of that before you took on this incarnation. You just couldn't wait to participate. And here you are. And here we meet again because we have met before. And my deep, deep prayer is that, oh, Bobby 6'2", woohoo! All my 6 lines are here. Woohoo, I see you 6 lines. Now that I know your profile, there is no way back, Bobby and Tommy. Right? So we are here, beloveds, and this is really important. Your voice really knowing that your voice, your creative expression, your contribution matters. And you will continue to expand, you will continue to play with your expression, you will continue to follow your passion and your excitements. The most important is knowing that you can't even turn away to go back, even if you wanted to. You've awakened quite far enough. So now is the way forward. But now you move forward with a new kind of style, with a new kind of rhythm, right? The spiritual Viking is here, right? But the battle is the battle with the low self, and the battle with the voices of doubts and the voices of limitation and the voices of fear. That's what the battle is that we're engaging in. And yes, you can blast everything through the power of your heart and dissolve all of these blocks, cages, and limitations through the power of your love. There is also another kind of type of spiritual warriors. They're called love warriors. And they cultivate such powerful energy of love that everything transforms through their presence alone, and they don't need to ever speak, right? They come and they bring their presence. Maybe you are that. Maybe that's your assignment, to be this a generator of love, a generator of incredible coherent vibration. What an incredible assignment, and thank you if that's your assignment, right? And then there is people who are in a different role, right? Who are in a different type of being a spiritual warrior, but we all got an assignment. And when we follow that assignment that is given to us by life through our higher self, we're fulfilled. Even when we are challenged and stretched to a new level of stretchy pants, we still find joy and laughter and humor. We're just like, what a cosmic joke this experience is, right? We'll laugh with each other, we drink some kava cacao, and everything is filled with lightness. But the most important is to remember that when we try to run away from our assignment, our life assignment, we choose a life of boring existence. We choose a life that is filled with regret, you know? So next year is all about letting yourself be free in your expression, in your service, in who you are, and looking at your journey with gratitude and celebration and honoring yourself. Really honoring yourself, honoring your victories, honor your losses, honor your mistakes, honor your epic choices that open some big doors for you this year. But honor the totality of your journey. I feel like that's what the wisdom of the year 9, it's all about. Celebrate totality. You take one event, an entire tapestry falls apart. So on this note, I celebrate those of you who are already in the year 2025, my European community. I love you, all the beautiful souls that connect to me from Europe, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. Who else we have? Of course, Canada and US. I raise my glass to you. Please remember that we are on the same team. Team humanity transformation, humanity ascension, humanity awakening. And those of you who are in the US, celebrate tonight. Lift a glass for yourself and for this incredible opportunity to be alive right now. Thank you for an epic year of sharing this journey with you. Here's to another best year yet, because we choose that, we choose the highest timeline, we choose the highest path, we choose the highest destiny. This is my key invitation and affirmation for you. Say it every day of your life. I choose my highest path. I choose my highest destiny. I choose my highest purpose. I choose my highest union. Highest path, highest destiny, highest purpose, highest union. and what you choose, you will receive. I love you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next year.